Odd, said Imor. He had this big wooden chest, added Cripple Wah. He'd have to be a merchant or a spy, said Imor. He pulled a scrap of meat from the cutlet in his hand and tossed it into the air. It hadn't reached the zenith of its arc before a black shape detached itself from the shadows in the corner of the room and swooped down, taking the morsel in midair. A merchant or a spy, repeated Imor. I'd prefer a spy. A spy pays for himself twice because there's always the reward when we turn him in. What do you think, Withel? Opposite Imor, the second greatest thief in Ankh-Morpork, half closed his one eye and shrugged. I've checked on the ship, he said. It's a freelance trader. Does the occasional run to the Brown Islands. People there are just savages. They don't understand about spies, and I expect they eat merchants. He looked a bit like a merchant, volunteered Wah, except he wasn't fat. There was a flutter of wings at the window. Imor shifted his bulk out of the chair and crossed the room, coming back with a large raven. After he'd unfastened the message capsule from its leg, it flew up to join its fellows lurking among the rafters. Withel regarded it without love. Imor's ravens were notoriously loyal to their master to the extent that Withel's one attempt to promote himself to the rank of greatest thief in Ankh-Morpork had cost their master's right-hand man his left eye. But not his life, however. Imor never grudged a man his ambitions. B12, said Imor, tossing the little file aside and unrolling the tiny scroll within. Gorin the cat, said Withel automatically, on station up in the gong tower at the Temple of Small Gods. He says Hugh has taken our stranger to the Broken Drum. Well, that's good enough. Broadman is a friend of ours, isn't he? Aye, said Withel, if he knows what's good for trade. Among his customers has been your man Gorin, said Imor pleasantly, for he writes here about a box on legs, if I read this scrawl correctly. He looked at Withel over the top of the paper. Withel looked away. He will be disciplined, he said flatly. Wall looked at the man leaning back in his chair, his black-clad frame resting as nonchalantly as a rimland puma on a jungle branch, and decided that Gorin, atop Small God's temple, would soon be joining those little deities in the multifold dimensions of beyond. And he owed Wah 3 copper pieces. Imor crumpled the note and tossed it into a corner. I think we'll wander along to the drum later on, Withel. Perhaps, too, we may try this beer that your men find so tempting. Withel said nothing. Being Imor's right-hand man was like being gently flogged to death with scented bootlaces.